world, have you say. Well, let's now cross to Adel Tantawy, who is in Cairo. Adel, I'd be interested to hear from you. We have one comment that just came in from Iman. He says, I don't know who is killing who anymore. Is that your sense of confusion as you understand it in Cairo?
I kind of like agree in that aspect. In one aspect and other aspect, I don't. In the first one, we express our condolence for all the blood because they're all Egyptian after all. But on the other aspect, the sit-in with the Muslim Brotherhood and the pro-Morsi that happened in Nasr City and in Nahda was basically a threat to the national security. And all the media were talking about that. And there were 47 days of negotiation, 47 days of messages coming from the authorities saying, please leave, let the women leave, let the children leave, let's negotiate something. All the international aspect came to play in that part, whether from the EU, from United States, from Arab countries. Everyone tried to say, let's reduce the national security aspect of that sit-in and let's see how we can play together. We heard everyone talking about the reconciliation in the first aspect, and now they don't talk about the reconciliation at all because they're saying what happened is too much to Egypt and it's too much to the society. In a way, we condemn the loss of life the way it happened, but there is pro-Morsi supporter who were responsible mainly to start that, because if they were open to negotiation, if they tried to settle things, that wouldn't be the end. We heard from Amnesty International about the torture that's happening in Rabaa. We heard about international agencies talking about weapons, including Robert Fisk from The Independent. He said that he witnessed weapons by himself when he came visited here. So it represents risk? Yes, it represents risk. And the continue of it will causing national security for Egypt. So
Adel,
that was
as
the
you
message
speak to us
that everyone...
from Cairo, apologies for interrupting, I can see that Ella is sitting there shaking her head and smiling. Do you want to respond, indeed speak to Adel?
Yes, of course. Many points regarding what he said. Most of his words were not accurate. First of all, many of the international organizations and human rights were there at our sit-ins, and they have the Amnesty itself had reported that there was no weapons there in Rabaa or in Nahda sit-in. This is the first thing, and this is evident from all the international media. If you can revise your sources, please. The other point is that there was no negotiation or any kind of negotiation or reconciliation attempts started by the coupists and the coup government. Although there was only violence, there was only shooting, there was only usage of heavy weapons. Right now, when I'm talking to you, right now, I'm in Ramsey Square, and if you know, there is 2 helicopters that I hear and I just saw before I am with you, having snipers on them, killing people in the streets. Is that not a problem in the national security? Are ladies with their families, the poor Egyptians or the men that were protesting in a peaceful sit-ins for weeks and weeks with no problems with any person, are a problem on the national security? And those coupists, the military coup, who are burning the corpse of the Egyptian civilians who are protesting and expressing their rights in democracy and their need to have a democratic country, is a problem on the national security. There is a big misconception, my lady, regarding the definitions of things. Definition of a coup, this bloody military coup, criminal people who are killing civilians, peaceful civilians, and there is another definition of what is reconciliation, what is democracy. The situation in Egypt is beyond political problems now. Now there is army killing civilians, and that is the end. And those civilians are, what are they doing? They are expressing their opinion, which is a human right that it internationally accepted by all the international laws. So please do not actually say things that are not on the ground. Actually, those coupists who are just just what we're talking about the democracy. They don't know what is democracy. Democracy is just the elections, and who won the election is the one in power. This is democracy. But because
well, Ala, we will go on to talk a little bit more about democracy, and I'm grateful to you for sharing your experiences with us throughout the day. Let's take some live pictures now, which we are getting from Egypt. They're coming in. I'm not entirely sure where they are from Egypt, but we're getting so many reports. They're from Cairo. We're getting so many reports of so many people being on the streets. If you want moment-by-moment updates, you want to go to the BBC Live page on the BBC website. So many correspondents there giving us live tweets of what they're actually seeing, because so much is difficult to verify in this very